even though things like outside of our team house were insane, our fans were like looking to crush us, the critics were at our throats, but inside, like those 10 men, like they never gave up. They were always working hard. Reaper always saw like more in them.
Well, it's the end of week 9 of NALCS while we're heading into tiebreakers, but I'm joined right now by Jack with coverage presented by OmniSlash. Talk a little bit about how C9's summer split has been. What has this split been like for you? Because I think for C9 fans, it's maybe been the craziest, most unusual split. Yeah. I imagine for you, it's been exhausting after all these years of doing this to sort of have this one pop up.
Yeah, it's if you look at it, it's almost like the reverse in a way of last split, where last split we came on really strong, and in the final weeks we actually fell apart. Yeah. And if you actually think about it, like the beginning of the split was just a kind of continuation of that slump and us rebuilding. Yeah. So we saw that we could get to where we all are now, like weeks and weeks ago, but it just took a while for us to really perfect what we're working on and actually figure out how to do end late game correctly.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me is you were when I interviewed you during the beginning of the split, you were very much like, look, these are the decisions we had to make, et cetera. You got flamed for quite some time. Did you know the entire time that, like, well, we're going to get second place at the end of this, so it's all going to work out? Because now it looks like the master plan came to fruition, but I don't know if that was what it was like for you.
I wasn't thinking we were going to get second at all. No, but I did think that we were going to qualify for playoffs, and like, hey, as long as we scrape in at a 6th, we're going to do really well. Yeah. Because I knew the core of what we've been working on was looking very good, and we just needed to show it on stage. And if we could show up at playoffs, then hey, the sky's the limit. Coming in that second was an amazing end, and I did not expect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what was the mix in bringing you the success? Was it Reapered? Was it the roster? Was it the decisions you allowed to have happen? Because it's, again, as you said, it's kind of a crazy story to have C9 end this way at the end. So what do you think really brought you here?
It was a collection of all those things. Good coaching decisions by both Reapered and our academy coaches and our assistant coach. Managers supporting those decisions, and players embracing those decisions, because if the players are just like, no, we just refuse to listen to what you're trying to push, it would have fallen apart. But the players, they all listened to what was going on and worked very hard to get where they are. And it was all 10 players. I think there was another interview earlier today where Sneaky and Jensen said it was a 10-player effort. It really was. I can't be more grateful and proud of the guys to not give up, to continue trying hard. And even though things outside of our team house were insane, our fans were looking to crush us, the critics were at our throats, but inside, those 10 men, they never gave up. They were always working hard. Reaper always saw more in them, and because of that, that's where we are today, is the efforts of all those people.
Yeah, I interviewed Sneaky yesterday because there was a point in time, I don't know if I said this publicly or just privately, that I was speculating, man, I wonder if this long-standing relationship between C9 and the organization and players like Sneaky and Jensen is not in a great place anymore because of sort of how everything looked at the beginning of the split. Sneaky says that everything seems to be pretty good. From your perspective, it seems that way too.
Yeah, those guys are our backbone, and I'm super proud. If you just saw the day that Jensen was benched, he put in more time in solo queue than anyone else on the team, and it's not stopped. He's still crushing it. These guys, it was never an issue with them ever giving up or not believing in Cloud9. They kept pushing, and we always believed in them. We knew, Reaper had said, even though when he was benching those players, we always identified that we need those guys to be in good condition for us to be here, for us to be able to participate well here and potentially internationally. So, they came through as we needed them to.
C9, I joked earlier in an interview that it felt like during the split, especially in the beginning, you guys were playing the slot machine to see who would be on the roster each week. Oh, it's this one. Oh, it's this one. and I think compared to a lot of the teams, especially those that maybe finished towards the bottom, I was talking to Nick earlier about CLG. The change that they made was Tony 2 weeks out from the end, right? What inspired you to allow such change to take place on the roster and sort of embrace like the wonky, try a bunch of different things out style in the beginning?
I know it probably seemed wonky to the fans who have no access to our scrims, but those decisions are based on a lot of results that we saw internally. And I completely trust Reaper when he told me that, hey, the current team and it's in the iteration that we have is not going to make it to playoffs. Are you willing to do what it's going to take to get us to be like a contender? And I told him yes, and they said, yeah, we need to bench these guys. Like, whoa, that's something, but I believe in you. Let's do it. And the guy's a genius. I'm glad that I had the faith in him to make it happen.
With up until maybe your victory against Team Liquid, and especially after this weekend, I had heard a lot of people shift their narrative from, oh, Team Liquid is number one, oh, Team Liquid really got together, like they're definitely the finals favorite, to now people are starting to say, like, wow, C9, like they just look in really good shape, potentially a team that is maybe best in the league right now. How confident do you feel on this, and do you think there's a chance that you guys are the best right now?
Team Liquid is a fantastic team with all-star veterans, so you can never count them out. And TSM, like, we'll see what happens today, but they're terrifying. They're really good as well. If they make it into playoffs, they're going to be like one of the biggest threats out there as well. Echo Fox really can be strong. So right now, we're in a great place. I'm really confident in our guys, but we have big challenges ahead of us. It's not going to be a walk in the park. We're going to have to come in strong.
Yeah. And then finally, same time around this year, I always have the conversation about NA at Worlds. Mm-hmm. I will say the vast majority of this split, I was kind of sitting there scratching my head, but it does feel like we're getting some pretty strong teams that are forging themselves in the fires of insanity, which was the split. What do you think of NA's chances at Worlds, and if C9 makes it, are you guys going to be able to be a contender?
If we can make it, we'll definitely be a contender, and I believe in a lot of the other squads that are here in NA as well. So whether we're there or not, I think we're gonna have a good showing. Yeah. But if Cloud9 makes it, I guarantee we are gonna have a good showing, and we're gonna work our ass off.
And then final question. I've noticed you've had a lot of success across a lot of your franchises this year. What are you doing behind the scenes? Like, what chemicals are you injecting into your players? What crazy thing? I mean, it's just interesting to see success across so many different parts of the organization. And quite frankly, I know the organization's pretty big. It's not like you've got one person that's like overseeing. It's just a lot of different people. So what do you think it is that's lining all this up for you?
I think Cloud9 has a really good culture set up for building strong teams and for developing young talent, and that culture is spread across the managers that we've hired, and they kind of understand our system of how we work with players and how we work with management, and that's developed this culture that's very successful. Yeah. So you can have any team that ends up winning a split any time. Sometimes the team just has the magic, but the fact that we've been able to rebuild and find success over and over again really makes me feel like we're onto something with our company and culture.
Very good. Anything that you would say to any of the fans, especially? I mean, I tweeted this out yesterday. We demand answers, Jack, and now there's a lot of people out there who are, I guess, getting their answers.
Yeah. I know it's always a vocal minority that puts out a lot of the hate that you see on social media. And so I never actually held it against the Cloud9 fans. I know they always had our back, and they just were kind of watching to see what happens, but they still supported us. So, and I'm hoping that some of those vocal minority fans that did hate us, they'll feel a little less inclined to hate us so quickly in the future. Yeah. But to the fans that always had our back, thank you. That was awesome.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. Congratulations on securing second place. In some ways, feels more of an achievement than securing first, given sort of the crazy world we were in the beginning. Yeah. So, congrats again. Looking forward to seeing how the team does in playoffs. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Hey, hope you enjoyed that interview. I certainly did. I'm actually going to rewatch it several times after this. Anyway, my point is, I want to say thanks to OmniSlash for supporting this content. And also I wanted to mention something to you. If you're running ad block on this YouTube channel right now, that's sad. But I've got a way in which you can make me happy. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get Twitch Prime. You just link your Amazon Prime, your Twitch account. You can click the Twitch link in the YouTube description and give me your free Twitch Prime. That's actually kind of cool. Anyway, thanks again, OmniSlash. Thanks for watching. That's it.